Between 1952 and 2022, Queen Elizabeth II was the Queen of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, which made her the longest-serving British monarch in history. Further over, succeeded by who is now King Charles III. But although the end of Queen Elizabeth II's reign has passed, on paper, the Queen lives on, at least for now, as many questions have been raised as to what will happen to money with the face of Queen Elizabeth II on it. Since 1935, long before Queen Elizabeth II ever became queen, her face graced the creases of banknotes across Canada, as the 1935 Canadian $20 bill was the first note that was ever featured with the face of the Queen on it, being only 8 years old at the time, making the 1935 $20 Canadian banknote pretty special for any collector, considering her face didn't show up on any of Britain's currency until 1960, a decade after she had already become queen. Since 1935, Queen Elizabeth II has been printed on currencies in more than 30 countries and territories such as Canada, Australia, New Zealand, various islands in the Caribbean, East Africa, Sri Lanka, Borneo, and even a 1-cent note in Hong Kong at one point in time. But now that the Queen has died and King Charles III is now king, what happens to all our money? Does all of our currency, our gold or silver coins, automatically become collectors and double in value? I truly wish so. But, well, I think it would take a few decades for any recent notes for that matter. But that being said, when it comes to bullion and gold and silver coins, following 2023, we will most likely see King Charles II's face rather than the Queen. But as for our notes, I think the Queen will live on and will be circulating for the good rest of this decade, and maybe even longer. With the Queen's death, the future of her image on currency around the world is pretty much up in the air. Banknotes featuring her in countries like Australia, New Zealand, and Canada will most likely update with the new monarch, King Charles III, but the process will probably take some time. The Bank of Canada has said its current $20 banknote is designed to circulate for years to come and has no immediate plan to change the note, as there really is no requirement to do so. While the Reserve Bank of New Zealand has said it will continue issuing the stock of coins depicting the Queen before new ones go out with King Charles's image. The organizations responsible for the production of money, the banks, the royal mints, most are staying mum on the future of various currencies, as people are still mourning the death of the head of state. So too the Department of Finance, which often make the final decisions on any design updates. For Britain itself, the Bank of England's governor reassured the public in a statement saying that the current banknotes featuring the image of Her Majesty, the Queen, will continue to be legal tender. In some of the Caribbean islands like Antigua and Barbuda, leaders plan to hold referendums within the coming years on officially casting out the monarchy. Whether they continue to circulate the Queen's image on their currency likely depends on if they remain members of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. Many former outposts of the British Empire have been engaged in a public reckoning of colonialism, and part of that dialogue is how they represent members of the British royalty on legal tender. For much of the last century, the Queen's face has become emblematic for Britain. Though it's hard to imagine King Charles III's likeliness attaining the global stature that Queen Elizabeth II held during her reign, as there is some bit of a debate over whether King Charles will and should replace his mother on the sole banknotes that bears her likeliness, and on the side of heads on our coins. It's not so much a requirement so much as a tradition to have our monarch depicted on our currencies. But changing the image on our currency is not just about honoring a new sovereign, but it's a way to make the moment of history where we are currently in. Personally, as a collector, I look forward to seeing the next batch of coins that may be circulating in 2023. Being in Canada, whether or not we still see Queen Elizabeth or King Charles on either our 2023 gold coins or even our loonies and toonies. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe. Till next time, catch you in the next one.